You know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles. Trump. Yeah.
He tends to just...
But... Talk to it. Spit on that thing. Because Trump is out there calling...
Did you say his name?
I said his name.
Oh,
yeah, it was a trick and it made me jump.
So Tuesday on ABC's The View, co-host Whoopi Goldberg spit in disgust after saying the name of former President Donald Trump. Goldberg has intentionally avoided naming Trump on air for the last 8 years. How deeply seated is your Trump derangement syndrome when you can't even say the man's name? I mean, that is ridiculous. When the reality is, these cackling hens, which is a insult to hens, sorry about that, chickens out back, they need Trump back in office. Their show is declining, and just like CNN and Fox News and all these other media, mainstream media outlets that are going downhill ever since Biden won office in 2020, they could really use a bump, and that would be Donald Trump. That would give them quite a bit to talk about and complain about. And I find it hilarious that on the heels of Tim Pool basically being silenced by CNN, claiming that he can't use fair use while simulcasting, adding commentary, and doing live fact checks when a former president is debating the current president for the first time in history. CNN wants those proprietary rights because they know, and we know, that they need Trump to help them in their ratings, to make money off of it, right? Meanwhile, these hosts of The View are sitting back saying that they hope their fact checkers on their simulcast are going to be able to get it right, which is just telling me that the mainstream media, The View, CNN, they want to control the spin, right? They want to make sure that they're able to spin anything that they can to make sure that Trump looks bad, and at the same time, try to make Biden look as good as possible, which in my mind is going to be very difficult, especially when it comes to a live broadcast. For those situations where Biden just can't speak, or worse, he tries to sit down in a chair that's not existent, or, claims that his butt's been wiped. One of the many things that we've seen Biden do over the past 3 years that he didn't do 20 years ago. They want to claim that he has a speech impediment and he's always stuttered and he's always spoken like this. But when you go back and look at how he spoke in the 90s, it's on camera. There's videos of it. Nowadays, he is a fraction of what he used to be. Even though he did stutter back then sometimes, it is not nearly the magnitude of how he is today. And here's a quick example.
What disturbs me more than the policy that you call a policy is the rationale for the policy. The rationale for the policy. You set out 4 principles that you adhere to, and then and I will go over them in a moment. Then you say on page 14, we must not become part of South Africa's problem. We must remain part of their solution. We must not aim to impose ourselves, our solutions, our favorites in South Africa. Damn it, we have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed by that ugly white regime. We have favorites. Our loyalty is not to South Africa, it's to South Africans. And the South Africans are majority black, and they are being excoriated. It is not to some stupid puppet government over there. It is not to the Afrikaners regime. We have no loyalty to them. We have no loyalty to South Africa, to South Africans. And the fact of the matter is I listen to this rationale first of all. It is the leaders of South Africa and their people, black and white, who have the majority responsibility. They must rise to it. Well, they are rising to it. They're rising to it. The only thing left available to them with that repulsive, repugnant regime of Afrikaners there. And it's the only way they have. They've tried everything for the last 20 years.
Thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
They even said leading into the 2020 election, Joe, just stay alive. We need you in your corporeal form to prop you up like Weekend at Bernie's so that you can beat Trump, so that they have a chance at beating Trump, because they had no other good candidate, and they knew it. And he still wasn't a good candidate, but they were able to pull it off. And it was with help of the mainstream media and people like Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts on The View that stand on their soapboxes and tell you about how Orange Man is bad and Sleepy Joe is good somehow. I don't know how people actually listen to that and pay attention to it instead of just using their own eyes. But I do understand that, people are busy, they work, they turn on one little news channel at night, or they watch The View in the afternoon or whenever it airs. And that's the extent of their exposure to news. They don't have the time to look deeper into the actual reality of what's going on like folks like me do, which is why we put out these videos to try to inform people of the actual reality and the truth in the world, even though it's not that hard to Google search Joe Biden's speech in 1990 and go watch it, and then just basically turn on the debate this Thursday and see the difference. Same thing with Trump. They want to say that Trump is on the decline, that everything that the right, the conservatives, the Republicans say about Joe Biden is what the Democrats are saying about Donald Trump, that he stutters, that he misspeaks and everything like that. But I would challenge that by saying Donald Trump is on the microphone hours per day, whether it's in a rally or if it's in court or if it's on an interview or whatever. He speaks thousands of words publicly daily to Joe Biden's one word. So obviously there's a much broader spectrum and opportunity for a person to misspeak, and everybody tends to misspeak at one point or another. We're just not speaking into a microphone with a camera in our face. Like when the lefty mainstream media claimed that he couldn't take a drink of water after he stood there and shook hands and saluted soldiers for literally hours before that. Of course he's got fatigue, and I'm not saying that he's a young man, but Donald Trump is definitely not displaying the decline that they claim that he is, right? And it just goes to show how out of touch Whoopi Goldberg is with the actual events that are going on planet Earth right now, because if you've paid attention on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of this stuff, or I should say X, my bad. Sorry about that, Elon, because I know you're going to watch this later. Hawk Tuah is going viral right now, and it has been for days. So for her to reproduce that on her show and open herself up to being involved in a new realm of memes, like I said, proof that she is completely out of touch with reality. She lives in her bubble, and while she sits up there on her little soapbox acting like Joe Biden is so good and Donald Trump is so bad, we're all sitting back and just cracking up and having a laugh at her, not with her. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you guys had a good laugh and enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.